on mindfulness, good education by good teachers around mindfulness and meditation. That the Insight Timer app, it's definitely your go-to one-stop shop for mindfulness, and also it's got a great community where you can join groups and share a little bit like Facebook if that's what you're into as well.
Let me begin by saying that's not something that I just say. It's my personal experience.
Yeah,
the best things in the world are for free.
Yep.
And I think Insight Timer is a prime example of that. So I don't know how many meditations they have. I don't know how many programs, because there's meditations, music, and whatnot. It's good over 10,000, and they all for free. And everybody with an access to the internet and a smartphone can go there and listen to absolutely top teachers. And that's for me absolutely mind blowing, right? So for someone who says I have to go and spend thousands of dollars to see, say, Tony Robbins visited Sydney just recently, and I think you have to pay for 4 days something like it's thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I think it's an amazing experience just because of that collective, I think, consciousness. And when you go as a group and you experience that as a collective, that's very powerful. But that's exactly what Insight Timer offers. You can see the meditators that you're meditating with on a moment-to-moment basis, right? And for me, Insight Timer is absolute gem, and that's why I put more and more effort into publishing my programs there and connecting with my audiences there.
Yep.
I started replying. I always replied, but now I actually make time almost on a daily basis to reply to the comments that people leave on the Insight Timer, and that's how they try to connect and communicate with me. And it's absolutely fantastic, and nothing warms my heart that much when I see that, when I hear that person says that I helped to, through my recordings, I was able to transform someone else's life, for better, obviously. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So for me, it's a wonderful journey. It's something, I think, in a sense, it's been going on for me for 3 years now. I don't know if I'm 3, maybe less, maybe more. However, I look on Insight Timer as a wonderful community of people, and obviously the platform is just the representation of the change of the consciousness that changes. And that's a wonderful thing. That's the most wonderful thing, that you can see a transformation and movement, so to speak, because it's over 5 million people. 5 million people, that's already a significant number. Right? And I'm not saying that every person jumps on Insight Timer on a daily basis, but if you look at statistics that you meditate, if I meditate for 40 minutes, I usually meditate with over 10,000 people, right? Yeah. Simultaneously. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I've got a few meditations up there, and this podcast will go up there, and for free. It's because it's done a lot for me. In terms of that connection and that community. And they're a really supportive and educated community. That's the other thing. The comments, even if they're negative towards your meditation, they're negative to try to help you become better at your craft, not just to have a pot shot at your meditation. It's like so many times I've read a comment that it's like, oh, you could have done this or looked at this. And it's like, oh, thank you. Like, that's great feedback. That's what I want. As opposed to, oh, I just hated it and it was no good. Like, that just, again, I'm okay with the feedback, but can you be constructive and help me get better? So that's the other bit that I really do love about the Insight Timer community. Tomek, before we wrap up, also, where else can people find you or get involved in your 6-step programs and start to work closer with you if they're liking the programs and the basis of this discussion?
So obviously I have a website called synergylabsydney.com. And the company I'm running, it's called Synergy Lab Sydney. Why Synergy? Because I love combining science and mindfulness and well-being. So it's a synergy across the mental and physical aspects of our daily well-being. So go to synergylabsydney.com. Also, obviously, feel free to connect with me on Insight Timer and through my profile there. I run private consultations in Sydney for those people from other parts of the country. I do Skype consultations. So that's one way of obviously reaching me. Yes, and I think that's that.
Awesome for that, mate. Thanks so much for taking the time to connect. This is my little give back to the mindfulness community and to try to raise a little bit of awareness for people around mindfulness, is to talk to it and get different teachers and different experts' lens on it, and to see if we can storytell and start to change that collective unconscious to collective conscious, and start to really move the wheel in a more mindful and kind of way. So, mate, thanks so much for your time on Conscious Conversations.
No, thank you very much. Look, I think you're doing a wonderful job, and this is absolutely necessary to talk about it and to spread the word. And again, as we already discussed, raise awareness. I think this is a wonderful tool of raising awareness about what's going on within our own lives and within the life of our community.
Perfect. Well put. Beautiful. Thanks, Tomek.
All right. Thank you very much. Look, that was my pleasure.
No worries, mate. Okay, so that was Tomek. It was a cool conversation. I liked it. I really did like it. I thought, we both had really aligned values and thoughts on what mindfulness is and where the needs are. There's an absolute fundamental need for mindful leadership. Leading in a mindful way. Presence is performance, and that's the tagline that I'm using at the moment when I'm working with leaders. Is it's hard to perform when you're not present. And you could look at that in sport, look at that in leadership, look at that in parenting, but it's the moments where you're fully there. Mind, body, spirit's there, and you're in that flow state where you actually bring a really good outcome. And that's what really mindfulness is. You're calm, you're clear, you're confident, you're committed. So that was the conversation. I really hope you liked it. Next fortnight we'll have someone else on. I'm sort of tossing up which one to hit you with next, because I've got a couple sort of in the bank now because it has been so long. But I'm really looking forward to hitting you with a nice podcast in about a fortnight. Stay tuned, stay grateful, and look after yourself. And this has been Conscious Conversations.